Hi everybody, I am Maggie and this is this is Experiments in Crafting. I am just getting ready to block this shawl. This is the shawl that I worked up in the mandala yarn, and I'm all done with it. My ends are sewn in, and I just thought I would go live and just show you how I'm going to block this. I've only spray blocked a shawl one other time, so this is a little bit of a learning experience for me. This is also brand new fiber rinse that I picked up at the alpaca show. You can check that video out on my channel. But this is supposed to be like conditioner. Because acrylic is not known for blocking very well, I thought I would give this this fiber rinse a try. It says that it works with synthetics, and I thought it might just soften this up. The Mandala Baby is actually pretty soft, but I think that this might just make it a little bit softer. So I am going to put just about a capful in my spray bottle. And that kind of just sank to the bottom. It didn't really spread. So I'm probably just going to shake this up. I've got this water just a little bit warmer than I would normally block in, just because I'm going to spray it and it's going to cool really fast. So it's warm to the touch, but it's not hot. All right, and so I am just going to give this a spray down. Just get this damp enough that I can stretch it a little bit. All right, that's pretty damp. I'm going to flip it over and just dampen the other side just a little bit too. Acrylic doesn't really suck up much moisture, so it doesn't do much to soak it in water like you would with wool, because it's basically just plastic. So it's not really going to absorb much water, so it doesn't really get into the fiber. This is just going to help move it around a little bit. More like lubricating the yarn rather than actually soaking it. Alrighty. So this is a brand new pattern from Raichy Newin Designs that released today. So, and the name is escaping me right now, but I will look that up before I'm done streaming. So this pattern is not a perfect triangle. It curves around on the edges, so I don't want to block this totally straight. I'm going to block it so that these curl just a little bit. So I've grabbed that point. I'm going to stretch this point, and then I'm going to work out from there in a triangle. So what I usually do is I just get right on top of it, just kneel right over it, and just work my way down one side for just a little bit. And then work on the other side and just kind of work as even as I can. Blocking crochet is a little bit different than blocking knitting. I've only ever had to block one knit shawl, and that's because I don't actually knit at all. I blocked for a friend. Knitting makes more of a interwoven fabric, and so as you pull, your project like stretches from the other direction. When you block crochet, something a little bit different happens. The stitches sort of move around and stretch and kind of find their placement. And so I think that blocking acrylic is still a little bit useful because those stitches are still going to move around. Even if they don't hold like they would if they were wool, they're still going to kind of pop to the right spot. And especially when you're working like this pattern, you work over chains. It really makes a difference that those stitches kind of even themselves out along the chain. So I think it's worth blocking acrylic, even if what you read online says that it's not. So, and this is just sort of how blocking goes. You just have to kind of sit and play with it for a while. I always try and block some point at the bottom here so that it has something to stretch against. If I just pulled this out, it would just keep moving this way, and there'd be nothing pulling it back this direction. So, I'll block this a little bit, and then I'm going to go work on this side for a little bit. And I just keep checking. I want this to be relatively straight because this should be the center spine on this shawl. If it starts getting real wonky, then I know I'm pulling too far one direction. So yeah. And really all I'm trying to do is open these stitches up a little bit. Hopefully they'll stay just a little for me. And like I said, get those stitches to sort of occupy the space that they're supposed to be in. A lot of times when you're crocheting, you'll get two stitches that are kind of stuck to each other. And blocking sort of picks them apart for you. This is feeling pretty dry down on this end. Just gonna wet it a little bit more. So I'd be interested to know, for anyone out there watching, if you guys generally block your shawls, if you prefer wet blocking or spray blocking, if you've had any luck blocking acrylic. Just leave it in the comments and I'll take a look at it. And if you've got any questions about blocking, leave those in the comments too, and I'm happy to look at those. Even if you watch this after I'm no longer live, I'll still take a look at those comments. And try it. I can always try and answer any questions to the best of my ability. So, alright, so I'm getting to the end of this side here. And I don't know how well you can see, but so some spots I have points where I'm pulling the stitches out too far, and so I'll go back and I'll relax those a little bit. just so that they don't leave peaks on the edges, because those tend to stay. If I just go back and let the pins relax a little bit, let the stitches relax just a tiny bit. That's probably too many pins right there. And then in this spot here, it's bowed in just a little bit, so I'm gonna use my hands and push that out a little bit. I want a nice straight edge. You can get a ruler out or a tape measure, but honestly, your eye is pretty good at noticing when things are not laying right or when they're just a little bit off. So if it looks pretty even to you, it's probably even enough, especially since you're not going to be wearing this laid out on the floor. You're going to be wearing it on your body. So, all right. I'm just going to keep working here on getting this shawl blocked, and then I'm going to stick a fan on it, and hopefully it'll dry pretty quickly for me. And then sometime either late tonight or early tomorrow, I will release my final thoughts on this shawl and the Mandala Baby yarn. I've got these in a little tighter than I generally block. Let me pull some of those out. All right, and then this is the part where it gets tricky because I've now pulled this up, but I have this shape to deal with, and I want to leave these so they curve a little bit when they wrap around. But if I let this go, it's gonna, I don't think I'm gonna get the openness I want along here. So I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit like it was, and then I'm gonna try and block these just a little bit straighter. But getting that exact shape that you want can be a little bit tricky, and you just gotta mess with it. Blocking is just kind of a fussy process. This is pretty dry here. I'm gonna spray this a little bit. So yeah, get this just a little bit wetter. Mostly I'm just getting my mats wet, but they dry pretty quickly. So yeah, so for anybody who's just joined, welcome. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about, I'm just spray blocking here tonight. If you've got any questions about spray blocking or wet blocking or anything crochet related, just go ahead and throw them out there. Just trying to even this up a little bit. See, these stitches are pulled just a little bit too tight. Just kind of, like I said, blocking is just a very fussy process. You just have to keep going back and fixing and changing things until you're happy with it. So I'm much happier with this shape now than I was a few minutes ago. I've got this straightened out a little bit here. I still have these sort of wings at the end, which I like. They wrap really nice when you're wearing a shawl. All right, and I think that's about good. I'm going to fix these pins just along here a little bit and open this up just a little bit more. Like I said, I don't expect miracles. It's always a little bit more difficult to block acrylic than it is wool, because it just doesn't stay quite as nice. But I think it's worth doing, at least for crochet. I can't really speak to knitting, but like I said, it helps make those stitches go exactly where you wanted them to be. And if what you're fixing is stitches, so as you work like across a chain space, if you get two stitches that are sort of like locked together and you block and they pop back apart, they're going to stay apart. Even if the blocking doesn't hold as well, they're not going to re-crisscross. That just happens as you're working up crochet. So some of those things are permanent fixes. Just not everything. And really, blocking wool is not forever anyway. It has to be done over and over again over the life of a shawl. I have several shawls that I wear regularly that have been blocked several times. Just because after you wear them a few times, they just don't hold up. Or at least the blocking doesn't hold up. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. This is not soaking wet. Let me see that one more time. Thank you, Norma. I'm really happy with these colors too. They've been, I don't know, I really like the way that this Mandala Baby works up. So I will be releasing a video probably sometime either late tonight or early tomorrow, just with my final thoughts on this. But overall, I've been very happy, especially for the price. I think the mandala colors are like $4.97 at Walmart. And indie dyed gradient yarn is quite a bit more expensive. And for the price, I think you get a pretty nice product from Lion brand. So I've been pretty happy. I'm going to grab, I've got a battery operated fan here, and I'm just going to turn that on and have it help me speed up the drying process.
You might have to talk a little louder. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about all from me. I just wanted to share my spray blocking for the evening, and stay tuned and you can see final pictures of this shawl and my final, yeah. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, it's at Experiments in Crafting. Otherwise, this video will be out by tomorrow. And